Welcome to the channel. In this video, I'm going to be covering an interview that Pierce Morgan had with P. Diddy's bodyguard. Now this was an interesting interview for many reasons, but what stood out to me is at one point, it sounds like the bodyguard basically admits to kidnapping Cassie. And so I just want you to listen to the interview and see if you kind of like hear what I hear in this. It sounds like they're at one point in time P. Diddy and Cassie were standing outside of a car. P. Diddy was clearly beating Cassie, and then the bodyguard puts her in a car with P. Diddy. So just see if you hear what I hear with us.
They came out of the black tire field on Sunset Boulevard, and she was talking to a manager, and I was standing there, and then he just came out and went crazy. You know what I'm saying? I didn't understand why, but I knew that we was on Sunset Boulevard, and I grabbed him and I said, "Yo, what are you doing? Like, what did she do?" And she just ran on the side of the car and she bent down, and he took off from me and he commenced to hitting her. And I pulled him off of her and I threw him in the car, and then I grabbed her and I threw her in the car. And they continued to fight for about another block or two. And then he sat there and he just shook his head. He just shook his head and said, "Take me home." Once we got her home, he then had his assistant get a hotel room at the London Hotel. And they took her over to the London Hotel for a week. And my job was to just go check on her, and I went and checked on her every day. She showed me some bruises on her chest, and she showed me her eye, and she just started crying.
Okay, so that right there, I just have like a lot of questions and concerns with that. So it sounds like the bodyguard is saying like he's seeing Cassie like bent over towards the car. He's trying to keep P. Diddy from getting to her, which this is like my other point with this. So like he's saying he's trying to keep P. Diddy away from Cassie. Now, if he was making a serious attempt to do this and P. Diddy was still able to get away from his own bodyguard, me personally, like if I had a bodyguard and they weren't able to restrain me, I would fire them immediately because, I would be like, well, if you can't even restrain me, how are you going to restrain other people from getting to me and attacking me? So, like, I just don't think you're an effective bodyguard if you were truly attempting to prevent P. Diddy from attacking this woman. And then what's concerning is that P. Diddy actually gets to her, and he says they're fighting and he breaks up the fight, which, I mean, that's just kind of interesting too. Like you're a bodyguard, you manage to break them apart. But then he says he puts P. Diddy in the car, and then he says he puts Cassie in the car. He doesn't say Cassie voluntarily goes into the car. He says he, as a bodyguard, put Cassie into the car. So I don't know. We'll have to have like the legal YouTube experts come on and comment on that. But that sounds like kidnapping to me. In that situation, you have a woman being beat by a man, and then a bodyguard comes over and is like, "Get in the car." If she didn't willingly get in that car, then there's an issue with that. And it's, it's good that the truth is coming out in these matters and things like that. But these interviews are probably reasons why people should talk to like lawyers before they come and do these interviews. So I just don't really know what to make of that. But then, it also sounds like not only is Cassie put into this car, potentially kidnapped and put into this car, and then they make arrangements for her to stay in a hotel where someone goes and checks on her every day. Like, I don't understand. Why didn't somebody call a doctor or take this woman to the hospital? I mean, maybe P. Diddy had like a private doctor go visit her, but I just don't really know. Like, how could a woman was beaten and being kept in a hotel room and not try to alert somebody about that? Yeah, so that situation's just, that's another tough situation to listen to. But I don't know what other people think of the bodyguard. I mean, people get into all kinds of situations and take jobs and keep jobs for all kinds of reasons, including like needing to take care of their families and things like that. But, I just don't know about staying with someone that you know is like beating women or doing all these things to women. I do think he may have gotten himself into a little bit of trouble here. I don't know. What do you all think?